Alright, hello. Uh, we've had some snowstorms past couple days, so it's a miracle that I'm here today. Barely made the car in the driveway. It's got a lot of snow in it. And so I could have kept sleeping. I wanted to. Lately, that's how it's been. You know, snowstorms seem to just make me want to hibernate. So I missed a couple days, and I said, I have to get here. Otherwise, well, not really falling behind, but um, mostly I just feel bad for Jack. You know, you can see his half of his body there in the reflection, but yeah. But we are concluding Ecclesiastes, the last two chapters, so these should be excellent. This is his ultimate conclusion of his thinking, his line of thought about life and this world and pursuits. I did read that note at the bottom there. I was just looking at that. I think I read that, so I'm not going to worry about that. But so just to conclude, Ecclesiastes is always from the perspective of the man under the sun. And if you always approach things from that perspective, yes, most of the time it's true, but at the same time, it's not leaving room for the miraculous or the grace of God and the Spirit of God, which is part of what he's already discussed in Proverbs with wisdom, I think. All of his advice, most of it is very true, even some of the bitter perspectives, I think, that we've talked about. But at the same time, God can break through all of the barriers that are created in this world by Satan, these strongholds, physical and spiritual barriers. I think God can move past a lot of that, and God will make a way for you. And so I don't think we need to be bitter like Solomon. I think Solomon is looking back on his life and thinking about what a failure he was. Rather than doing that, why not look to God and Jesus Christ and how he can, when you continue to seek him and have him run your life, I think all things become better and become possible, and basically everything gets better. So his perspective is, like I said, a little negative. So that's my problem with Ecclesiastes, but I think in the end his conclusion is sound, which is what we're getting to here in chapter 11. So let's start in prayer from Matthew chapter 6 verse 9, and then we'll come back to chapter 11 of Ecclesiastes. After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Amen. My goal today is to make it to Isaiah. I actually want to go into Isaiah. I want to just read Isaiah, but We got the Song of Solomon, which hopefully we'll get to that next video. And what's wrong? Your ball's over there. You got a new nail growing in finally. You know, that was his big emergency, was his nail broke and he could barely walk on there. But he's finally got a new nail growing. The old one finally fell out, praise God. Yeah, I'm talking about you, I'm sorry. Are you offended? It's okay. He just wants me to keep petting his butt. Okay, thank you. Yes, your ball's there. Alright. The best thing possible to the natural man. The natural man. What about the spiritual man? We'll come to that. Let's just read what he has to say. Verse 1 of chapter 11 of Ecclesiastes. Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days. Is he saying to give generously? You don't know how your giving can maybe indirectly impact you later on. Like something you took for granted initially now is the solution in the end after you failed at life. Maybe? I don't know. Give a portion to 7 and also to 8, for thou knowest not what evil shall be upon the earth. Yeah. Same. It's under the same idea, you know. I don't know how it's going to play out, and maybe something evil happens to me later on, and because of something I did earlier on, now maybe some blessing will come upon me. I don't know. 3. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if the tree fall toward the south or toward the north, in the place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap. Just standing there, looking at everything, you know, spending all your time observing stuff. But what about the work that has to be done, you know? As thou knowest not what is the way of the Spirit, nor how the bones do grow in the womb of her that is with child, even so thou knowest not the works of God who maketh all. Thank you. Yes, that's very true. I really don't know anything, you know? Man. Whew, I don't know anything. It's true. In the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thine hand. For thou knowest not whether shall prosper, either this or that, or whether they both shall be alike good. Truly the light is sweet, and a pleasant thing. It is for the eyes to behold the sun. But if a man live many years, and rejoice in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many. All that cometh is vanity. See, his conclusion is pointlessness. But he makes the difference between light and dark there. Light is sweet, yes. Living in the light of God, walking with Him, that's a good thing, is being with God. But then he concludes that it's all pointlessness anyway, so who cares? Whatever. You know, it's kind of what he's saying there. But if a man live many years and rejoice in them all, that sounds like a good life. And it sounds like he praised God in all of his days. Yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many. All that cometh is vanity. I mean, from a certain point of view, like now, I would regard the period that I'm in now as a day of darkness, where today is like February 15th or 16th, I don't know. We have a half of the nation knows that their votes don't count, and that something is very rotten in the state of Denmark or in the United States. You know, it's a year from now, if God saves this country from this evil that has taken hold of it, a year from now, will people even remember these days and the magnitude of what was occurring? You know, I've lived in the midst of this. I remember my life 20 years ago, and I've seen all of this evil creep in. I can tell you right now that I am definitely taking very seriously what he's saying. Remember the days of darkness. Because that's how you learn. You know, if I lived in the period from, I don't know, if I lived in a peaceful period where there were no problems and everything was prosperous, would I even give God the time of day? See what I'm saying? You know, if everything is prosperity, everything is fine, there's no conflict, there's no challenge, you just have peace, you marry this gorgeous woman, you have 10 kids, you don't teach the kids anything. See the same process playing out all over again? Because you didn't witness the days of darkness, there's nothing to learn from, and you have no real understanding of what that even means. You see? Kind of. That's what I get out of it anyway. I am never, ever going to forget these days. And if I have kids, or if one of my cousin's kids approaches me and says, "Hey, Uncle Alex, you're one of those weird guys that reads his Bible. Do you have any advice on the things going on?" And then I'll be able to tell him, you know, when I'm 80 years old, "Well, boy, this is what happened in the year 2020. Yes, I'm Obi-Wan now." And I would be able to explain to him the things going on, and then I would be able to reveal to him, maybe with a greater historical sense, that the things going on now are probably exactly the same that happened before the fall of the Soviet Union, probably the hostile takeover in China, probably so many other instances in history. Probably there's Napoleon, probably having to do with Hitler. There's so many instances throughout history that I'm sure the same satanic rituals, the same things continue to occur. And since you have that direct, real-world understanding of what was going on at that time, you'll be able to relate better to the brain-dead kid over there, you know. So don't forget it. It's the biggest mistake of our people. So we forget things, and because Satan knows we're idiots, so he takes advantage of that. They shall be many. I hope not, but they could be. But his conclusion is sad, though. All is vanity. Yes, it's true, but we can still learn from it, and maybe the next generation will finally come out of it, rather than being a whining, bitter person that's just, "Hey, we're doomed! We're doomed! You have no chance. You might as well give up. All is vain anyway. Rather than doing that, why not look to the hope of Jesus Christ and realize that He can break through that darkness. He is the light itself. 9. Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that all these things God will bring thee into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. Chapter 12. The best thing possible to the natural man, the man under the sun. Verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. My coworker said to me about his grandfather, it's pretty incredible. You see him, young man, he's only like 18 or 20, I don't know, maybe 21. He's a little guy, and then his grandfather is a little guy, and then his mom is this little woman. You know, it's incredible. I don't know why that's just so fascinating to me, but there's God right there. But anyway, his grandfather, my coworker was telling me, you know, I tried to give him a little bit of time a day. I really should give him more time. I really should spend more time with him and talk to him. And he's a very troubled young man. But he mentioned to me how his grandfather is tired of living. And just think about that. You know, young man, you know, his grandfather wants to die, and he admits it to his grandson, you know. And I have another story I could share, but I won't. It's just sad. I mean, when you get that old and you're in pain every day, I think this elderly person has diabetes, so he has to take these stupid insulin shots every day and all that. And yeah, I could see getting tired of life when having to do that, but I wish there was a cure for all of that was mainstream and people didn't have to do that. That would make your life miserable. But anyway, he's saying it's inevitable that when you become old, you will say, I have no pleasure in life anymore. I want to die. Is that how I'm going to turn out? Well, it's all in how you look at it. For the natural man that doesn't believe in God or under the sun, in the flesh, it's a different perspective, you know? Like, I don't want to deal with the pain of dying, you know? I don't like my back going out. I don't look forward to that, getting old and all that. But at the same time, when I die, I know where I'm going, and I know that He has a new body for me. So it's all in how you look at it, you know. I would say I look forward to the life to come. And I think every Christian that believes in Jesus Christ, I think they can say that. When you live in this world, when you see the things in this world, it can be very depressing, you know. And even in my young age, I'm relatively young, you know. But I can even say that now, seeing everything going on and where the world is going with progressive liberalism and what's all the weird words today, the wokeness, you know. I've already come to Solomon's bitter conclusion in a lot of ways because I know where I'm going. But he's looking at it from the natural man perspective of somebody who's just lived for the pleasure of the now rather than thinking of the future spiritual life, which nobody really knows what life will be like in heaven. So his perspective is, I don't know, it's not appropriate. Now, do I look forward to the life to come? I don't look forward to the pain of dying. I look forward to being of use to God for as long as He will use me. And that's really the only perspective I have. If He's already situating me with cancer, you know, so that I die young, so be it. You know, if that's His will, then that's how it ends. And hopefully my use was useful to Him, to His kingdom, and someone will watch these videos and they may learn something, or maybe they'll grow closer to God. Maybe that was the whole point in my use. That's all I want to be, is of use to Him. I've surrendered to Him, and I don't, you know, my goals and my aspirations, it's irrelevant when I look to God and I want His will, His goals, I want His to be accomplished, not me. Less of me, more of Him. And as you continue to do that, Solomon's perspective becomes less and less relevant, I think. But like I said, the natural man, like he's saying. I went on a tangent, I'm sorry. Verse 2 of chapter 12. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. You know what I thought in that? You know, I'm thinking of like end time stuff, but I'm also thinking of right now. He's talking about there's not a lot of people working. Everything's darkened. Darkness, that's something right before Christ comes, is complete darkness. Grinders cease because they are few. That says there's not enough workers. Lockdowns in verse 4. Fear in the streets. I don't know. Maybe this is a prophetic, I don't know, prophecy, I don't know. Probably wrong, but I'm just thinking out loud. 6. Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken. And these are, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. And those are visualizations in Revelation, right? The bowls of wrath. Or maybe not, I don't know. But then the next verse there in 7, that's speaking of, I don't know if it's Judgment Day or if it's just the natural process of life as you get older. This is how you die. Is that all he's saying, or is there some prophetic, I don't know. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. All is vanity. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed, and sought out, and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goads, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. And further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Weariness of the flesh. Chapter 5, the best thing possible to man under the law. Okay, so this is the ultimate conclusion, and I think this is probably good advice. 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Good, thank you. But like I said, we are not under the law, we are under grace, which is something that he's not leaving room for in his thinking a lot of times with his bitter thought process. So, man under the law, under the sun, we still seek to obey him, and we read his law and his word, and we strive to do the right thing, have Christ living and working through us, but it's only through him that we're able to basically to function in this world, in this life. And it's him that's continually changing you and refining you into the person you're meant to be. And that's, we're living under grace, not under the law. So, doesn't mean we dismiss the law and say, no, I don't need it. I got grace anyway, so blah. No. But okay, we're continuing with Song of Solomon next time. And then hopefully we can make it to Isaiah, but we'll see. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.